Yeah, first of all, I really appreciate the question because, here's a young person who's trying to think through how do I follow the Lord as I'm thinking about dating, marriage, the temptations that can come in that kind of a relationship. So it's a great question. It's a question I think that's also akin to an age-old question, which runs along the lines of how far is too far? What kind of interactions with this other person would be acceptable, and what would be considered crossing the line biblically? And I think the place where we really have to start is, where's your heart at? Are you intent on following the Lord in your walk of life? And I think of a dad who said, when I talk to my kids, I say, don't go chasing after boys, don't go chasing after girls, chase after God. And if you see somebody keeping up with you, introduce yourself. And that just lays the foundation for where we're going. And if you've got two people that are heading in the right direction, it's just really, really helpful. I think of Hebrews 12:2 that says we're called to be transformed by the renewing of our minds so that we would know what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And so we want to have our hearts and our minds oriented in the right direction. And I think that in and of itself is going to help us then move in our walk of life in a way that is pleasing to the Lord. I also read a book recently called Sex, Dating, and Relationships, and in it they talk about, biblically there's kind of three categories of relationship, and that helps give a framework too for how do we think about, what is healthy and acceptable. And those three categories are, so there's a family relationship, there's a marriage relationship, and then every other relationship falls under this friend relationship or neighbor relationship. And so we want to treat the person that we are dating or going out with or interested in as a neighbor, because we're not family and we're not married yet. And the Bible's very clear. Sexual relationship is meant to be only within the context of a marriage. And so, just think about what are healthy habits here. We want to make sure that in terms of sexuality and maintaining purity, that anything that's going to move us or move us towards, a marital sort of situation or a marital commitment, we're going to want to shy back on a little bit. Be aware of the amount of time that you're spending together. I would say spend more time with other people than spending time alone, just to avoid those places of temptation. Prayer is another place where I'd be a little bit cautious on. It might sound kind of weird. But praying can be a very intimate thing, and that level of intimacy can start uniting our hearts together. So we want to be a little bit cautious about how we pray when we're praying together. We want to be wise about the age at which we start to think about romantic relationships. The Song of Solomon says, "Don't awaken love until it's appropriate." And so if you're considering, going out to college, university, starting a career, or, you're only 14, 15 and you got high school to finish, might not be the best time because you're gonna move into deeper relationships with people and put yourself in a place of temptation.